Hi, and welcome to Old School Blues Guitar. It is time for another classic electric blues instrumental. And by request, we're going to take a look at Freddie King's In the Open, one of Freddie's many, many great instrumental tunes. This one is in the key of A, and it starts out with, what I'm going to do is take you through the first two verses and try to do it note for note and show you what's going on. And then from there, we'll highlight some of the most interesting licks and ideas that he uses the rest of the way through. So starting out, he has this riff, which I think is an A ninth chord. And I've seen other guys play this on YouTube and teach it, and they have a different fingering. I'm not sure, if anyone can clear this up, let me know. But I hear an A ninth chord. So it starts out like this. So that's the first lick. So that chord lick, it's an A9, first position, A9. Check the tab diagram, the chord diagram at the top of the tab sheet if you don't know this one. And he starts out, pay attention to the rhythm and how he's playing it. So that's the first time, and then the lick. And I think on this tune, Freddie's the only guitar player. I can't hear another guitar player on this. Maybe there is. He usually has a rhythm player. And it sounds like he might be doing this whole thing himself, which means he'll play the chords and then go right to the fill. So that first fill is a bend on the 7th fret of the 3rd string. I call this a 3-finger bend, using my 1st, 2nd, and 3rd fingers with my ring finger, my 3rd finger on the 7th fret. And you bend it, let it hang and come down a little. And you're going to get the 5th fret of the 3rd string and then the 7th fret of the 4th string. So like this. So the whole first lick again. That's the first part of the song. Then the second lick, he's going to do that same A ninth chord, and he's going to go, I missed the last part of that. So same chord, and he cuts it off a little sooner. So if you listen carefully, notice the first time he does this, and then the second time he does, and then he can play this. So what I'm doing here is 8th fret of the 1st string to the 5th fret, and then into that same bend pretty much. Right there. Then the third time, he cuts it even shorter so he can do this. And this time he's going to go to the 8th fret of the 1st string and bend it just a little bit. And then walk down. So it's 8th fret, 5th fret, 1st string, 8th fret, 5th fret, 2nd string, 7, 5 on the 3rd string, 7th fret of the 4th string. Something like that. So that's the first part. Let's try to play that all the way through. Pretty close to what he's doing. The last lick, before he moves on to the 4, he does something like this. And this is one of the really cool things about this particular song is the many different ways that he bends and plays the 3rd and 4th strings. He plays so many different licks, and they're all different. And there's so much variety. He can almost do a whole solo just playing like in this area. Listen to this tune all the way through and check the tab, and you'll see just how many variations he uses. So right here he's doing like this. That's what I hear. So the whole first verse of Freddie King's In the Open. That's what I hear, and that's really close to what he's doing. Now the 4, when he gets to the 4, now he's going to play the chords, the D ninth chord, playing that chord, and he plays a lick. This is a really cool little lick, and that's what I'm hearing, something very close to that. So he's going to the 8th fret of the 1st string, and then doing a hammer-on pull-off between the 5th and 7th frets of the 1st string. And it sounds like he comes back to the 7th fret of the 2nd string. Something like that. Before going back to the chord. So he comes to the 4, and this is the first lick he plays. And then into the next lick. It goes something like this. Or maybe some kind of variation. So he's going to bend the 8th fret of the 1st string. I call this a 4-fingered bend or a long bend, using all 4 fingers to get as much strength and control behind that as I can. And I'm bending up and bringing it back down before I go into that lick. So it's there you go. The 1 with the chord. And play that. What I'm doing there is getting the 8th fret of the 2nd fret, and then I'm doing that same bend on the 3rd string. Notice how he lets it go, he holds it. And that's something that's really important in all this traditional electric blues stuff, is these guys will hold notes and let them ring out, let them sing. And that's the difference, I think, between a lot of the older guys and the new guys you hear today. And so anyhow, that lick again, and that's right before he goes to the 5. So it's E 9th, and he plays something like that, pretty close to note for note. So one more time. Back to the 1. Something like that to get into to the end of the first verse. So if you listen to the tab, or look at the tab and listen to the song, I think I got most of those licks pretty much note for note. If not, I've got them tabbed out and you can listen to them. But that's the idea. So I think the important thing is getting the timing. So you can get all those licks in and keep in time with the song. And that's where his strumming and how many times he plays each one of those chords in between licks or before the licks, I think is the key to getting that first part of the song down. So the first verse of Freddie King's In the Open, you've got these 9th chords, and then you've got a variety of licks all played at the first position blues box. And from here, he's going to start getting into some really, really neat ideas. And we'll tackle the second verse here in just a minute. King's In the Open. He starts out with this trill on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, which is a kind of a signature Freddie King lick. And then he does this. So that's the first lick in the second verse. One more time. Just kind of doesn't pick it, lets it go. And then, so he does this again. And then open 4th string. 3rd fret of the 5th string. Open 4th string again. Open 5th string. So that whole lick, it's like that. So the whole lick. And then he comes into this. And it's what's called a long A chord. This is a typical chord used in country blues music. Mississippi John Hurt, a lot of other guys. Making an A shape with the 1st finger at the 2nd fret, getting pretty much everything from the 4th fret, 4th string down to the 1st string. Then my pinky's going on the 5th fret. And you strum that. It's a very distinctive A chord. And Freddie King uses this chord a lot in his instrumentals, and not so much in his vocal songs, but in a lot of his instrumentals in the key of A. And even in E, too. And what I hear is when he goes into that, whoops, I hear that open 5th string. So I hear him leading in with the bass. I think that's the rhythm. So let's play that whole part of the second verse. And then he's going to go into this. That's more like it. So what I'm doing is this is an A7 double stop. It's the same if I played here. And I'm coming in with my ring finger. You can use your second finger too. I'm not sure which one he used. I'm going to use my ring finger to keep it simple. And I'm sliding from the 4th to the 5th fret. And then I'm going to get the 3rd fret of the 1st string. Actually, I'm not going to pick. That's what you'd normally do. But this time he goes, and I don't know if he puts his pinky down on the 5th fret of the 1st string or if he just flattens out his 2nd finger, but somehow he gets that note. So it's like this. And he's going to slide the ring finger from the 5th fret back to the 3rd fret. So 1st fret of the 2nd string, 2nd fret of the 3rd string. So that whole lick. So let's take the whole thing so far. And then he does this. So he's going to go just on and off on the 3rd string, 2nd fret. And then he's going to get the open 4th string and a bend. He's going to bend the 3rd fret of the 5th string like that. So that whole lick, let's do that from here. And then, this is what I hear, he's going to come into a D7 shape. So a D, this is a 1st position D7th chord, and what I hear is pretty much getting the open 3rd, maybe 2nd string as he puts it down like that. And then he's going to pick the 2nd, so he's going to keep that chord and pick the 2nd string. And then 1, 2, 3. So this next lick is like this. Then he lets it hang like that. So let's take it from here. Let me try that again. That's closer to what he does. And then he's going to go something like that. I hear him hitting the open 3rd and then coming down into that D7 shape again. And then picking the D7th chord, just holding that shape. Something like that. Then he's going to go back to this long A chord and he plays this vamp between a long A and an A7, something like this. So I'm just holding the 1st finger straight or solid, and I'm going back and forth with my pinky to the 5th fret of the 1st string and my 2nd finger to the 3rd fret, from an A to an A7. And he does it again with a slightly different rhythm. I don't know exactly what he does there. You'll have to check the tab for that one. I can't remember it. And then he goes into this E7th chord, which is really a neat lick. And what I hear, he's going to get the open 3rd string and then come down into an E7 shape with 2 fingers. And I'm assuming he uses 2 fingers here. I don't see how he could do it comfortably with 3 fingers. So my 1st finger is coming down on the 1st fret of the 3rd string, and my 2nd finger is coming down on both the 5th and 4th strings at the 2nd fret. But I'm just picking the 3rd string for now. And then he's going to go this. Sorry, thinking through it too much. And I'm getting the open first string, and then bringing my pinky down to the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, making a E7th chord. So it's like this. And then he picks that. And what I'm hearing is this. Something very close to that. And then back to the D7. And then he walks in back to the 1 with this little bass thing, which is really cool. So it's open, 6th string, 3rd fret of the 6th string, 4th fret, open, 5th string. So like this. And then you're going to hear this. That lick, that's an A7th, long A lick. And then he's going to come all the way up here and play a lick like that. And that's going to wrap up the 2nd verse. So let's figure out what he's doing there. So this, I think he does it 3 times, so it's... So this lick here, double stop on the 1st and 2nd strings, my 1st finger's on the 12th fret of the 1st string, my 2nd finger's on the 13th fret of the 2nd string. And he's going to move it 1, 2, 3 frets down. So my 1st finger is now on the 9th fret of the 1st string, and my 2nd finger is on the 10th fret of the 2nd string. So listen to this. Remember those 2 positions because we're going to use those again. So he plays this. And then he leads into the 3rd verse with that. Let me try to play the whole 2nd verse real slow. Try to remember it. It's hard to memorize these things. So let's take it from the top. Not the greatest, but pretty darn close, and the whole point of these videos is not to show you how great I can play this stuff, but to show you what's going on and where he's playing and what he's playing. And that's the first 2 verses. Now for the rest of the song, we're going to take a little different approach. And rather than me try to get everything note for note, which is really hard, I'm just going to show you some of my favorite licks and some of the more interesting things he does the rest of the way through.